All right, so among my other childhood dreams we're achieving, like painting crab pots in my own front yard, I always wanted an ice machine. I did make a mistake and I bought this one from CJ, so that means it's probably doesn't have much life left in it. But we've literally, all 4 of us have been standing around like listening to this thing, just like watching it, debating whether it's actually gonna make ice. Literally are standing around watching water freeze, but it's the important things. Look at that. Oh, dude.
4 cubes.
Holy crap.
That's 4 more than we had a minute ago.
There's 5, there's 5. Dude, we're on to something, man. I'm telling you, life-changing. Dude, it made that ice pretty quick. I'm shocked.
With Charlie from Jimmy's, we're with Luke McFadden from the Chesapeake Bay. We're talking crabs, so why is a catfish on the table in front of us? Because they eat crabs, and DNR wants you to eat more catfish so they won't eat all the crabs.
That's right.
Sounds like a soap opera. We'll have more coming up shortly.
So this weekend, it is supposed to be 46 degrees, blowing 20 mile an hour, and raining. So logically, we're going camping. Me, Lindsay, Riley, and his girlfriend, Carly, are going to Chesapeake. I want to go catch black drum on the beach. Rain or shine, we have the camper. I'm going to try to get that onto the beach and hopefully surf fish, catch a couple black drum. So we're making rod holders with this piece of an outboard crate, some PVC pipe. Right now, we're trying to heat it up to jam that hitch ball in there to kind of open up the top a little bit, just because we're fancy like that. Oh, there he is. Truck camper meetup, trip to Chesapeake in the rain.
Yay.
Me, Lindsay, Riley, Carly, and dog.
We're going camping.
Oh, snap. Check it out. Cooking breakfast, getting ready to go fishing. Girls are out there. Riley's in there cooking the other half of breakfast. We're gonna make the most of it. It's cold, nasty, and rainy, but we're gonna have a good time. We always do. All right, so you guys gotta let us know. Do you like my camper or do you like Riley's camper better? So mine, bed, fridge, vintage wood grain, a load of crap, dog bed, shelf, that's also another bed. Got this, closet, range, full bathroom. Yeah, dude. You gotta let the fans decide. Do they like my camper or do they like yours? Also, mine is vintage beige.
This is biased.
No.
Look, I got the solar panel.
Yeah, Riley has a solar panel.
It's not working at all because we don't have any sun right now.
I have no electricity except for a car battery.
You gotta show them the decor.
Yeah.
I'm steamed.
Yeah, very nice.
The Avenger Bay Boats floor mat.
Wonder where that came from.
I don't know.
Some really nice caulk work. Custom floor mat. But I mean, I will say Riley's camper is pretty nice. It's got a queen size bed, maybe-ish. Refrigerator, but his doesn't work on propane. Mine only works on propane. Range, his range is pretty nice.
I don't have an oven.
Doesn't have an oven. Table, custom layout, full head and shower, which is actually way nicer than mine. I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous of the bathroom setup. But it also takes up half the camper. Not bad though. Custom stick-on tiles and carpet. I like it. What year's yours?
05, matching the truck.
He has a matching 05 6.0 and truck bed camper. My camper's a 1986 and the truck's a 14. It's only one right answer. His heat also works. Mine doesn't.
I had to fix it yesterday. There was a broken ground wire inside of here and the contact in here wasn't working, but now it works. Don't feel the need to talk.
We're fishing. All right, so we've spent the morning on the beach here. We have not caught anything yet, so we have everything packed up. We're gonna move down the beach. We got coolers, drinks, fishing rod, everybody and everything just packed up. So we're gonna go find some fish. We got fish to catch. I caught some crabs. We're in here, we're in the camper, we're drum fishing. We're cooking burgers, man. Look, we got this, you've seen this. You can find it. If you really want it, you'll find it. You know where it's at. Cooking cheeseburgers. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to have the camper on the beach. It's just fun. Like, I like it. Cool. Got bacon, cheeseburgers. Well, it was a fun weekend. We caught no fish, which was a bummer, but we did have a very good time. Check it out, Squad D campers. That's pretty sick. All right, so I got all of the hydraulic parts that I need. I got a bunch of new fittings and all my new hoses. I have my valves. I got to replace some of these on the bench and then get to putting these back into the boat. I got new fittings for these because the threads are kind of boogered up, and I got some fittings to shorten this whole assembly to make it work with what I had. So hopefully this is not too painful to do. Sometimes these fittings are, actually all the time these fittings are stuck. I already broke this one loose, but we're gonna give it a go. All right, got our new fittings in here and here, and reduce this down. Just got rid of one more fitting. Everywhere there's a fitting, it could leak. So now we got to get it in the boat, and I have all these parts that I know came off of it that I think I took pictures and videos of it, but it might take a little figuring out to put this back in. Every time I have to mess with these things, I have to reconfigure a little. Now I gotta put this jigsaw puzzle back together. I have all my new hydraulic lines, a bunch of fittings, both of my valves. Now I'm trying to remember how it all goes back together. And I just took a fitting off that I should not have taken off. I may be a little screwed here. I may need to go watch back the video that you guys saw previously so I can remember how these go back together. Realizing that some of the fittings that I even replaced were probably not the fittings I needed, but they were probably the fittings that I had at the time. So now I'm kind of undoing some fittings, resurrecting old fittings, putting it back together. Sometimes I like to take the old fittings off, even if they're still good, so I can use them as spares, because you can always have spare hydraulic fittings. And it actually paid off this time. Because these were straight fittings, but that puts a big bend in the hose that will chafe on the house of the boat. So I'm trying to put these 90s on here, hoping that that will solve that problem. Damn, just hit myself in the face. Go to here, go to here. That doesn't fit. This little stainless collar is stuck. I'll show you. This little thing here is supposed to slide up to the end, and then this pushes it up in there, but this little collar is bound up somehow. I don't even know how it got back there. I'm gonna try something that might be stupid, but I'm gonna try to heat it with a torch. I've never seen a MAP gas torch be so not hot. Maybe this is propane. There's also oil in here, so you know, that could ignite. This wouldn't be great, but see if some heat will get it to move. Not the heat I was really wanting. So my plan didn't really go as planned, typical. My plan was to cut out this section of hard line and just attach a line right from there to this coupler, but I didn't realize that these have different threads and different flare fittings on either side than that one, and they're not compatible. Here I am again now, just running this line up and then running it into a loop, which is not really ideal. I don't want a tight bend, but it is what it is. Now I made it harder because I had this line cut shorter so it would reach right from there to there, but here we are actually fighting it more because now it's shorter. But it is what it is. Now we'll start the boat and see if it sprays fluid. I do have to flip my winder lines around. It runs backwards now. Test went better than expected, but I won't really know until I have some tension on the winder. All right, so the last step is you cover every fitting in this stuff called grease tape. It's like fabric with grease all over it, and that's gonna save these fittings a lot. I mean, night and day difference. It is worth it whenever you have to get these fittings apart. They'll look brand new. You may ask, why do I not just get stainless ends on all my hydraulic lines? Well, in my experience, usually the rubber hose itself will have issues before the fitting, 50% of the time, but also they're like 4 times the cost. Since I'm building a whole nother boat, I'm not really trying to spend 4 times the cost on the old Southern girl here. The downside of grease tape is when you get a leak, it's a pain to get to and figure out where your leak is a lot of times because it's covered in tape. But in my experience, hydraulic leaks tend to make themselves pretty evident pretty quickly, especially if you do nothing about it. Oh, come on. All right. I think it's done. That was a bear. I knew. Winder lines. Remounted the pedal, had to move it over. It's slightly crooked, which bothers me, but it is what it is. And grease taped, every hose replaced, chafing gear, and zip ties to hold the hoses apart. It's gonna have to do. All right, so another thing I have to do to the boat is finish putting down these tracks. Probably, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago, I put these stainless tracks that the pots slide on. It works fantastic. but I ran out of stainless, and this gets hung on everything. So I gotta cut a new piece here and lay it down the center. Look at this. Did you catch it?
No.
Clearly, we were up to very important business this morning. John's trying to, I assume, retrieve that life jacket with his fishing rod.
I don't think you'll get it. I thought 90% of the time it comes out with a fly rod.
Dude, if you got that with a fly rod, the freaking internet would be
I was like, dude,
very thoroughly impressed.
and then it comes out with that, and I was like, probably 4 casts.
A little bit out.
That's
of the
freaking
red.
out there, man. That's like, that's pretty far.
Got it. Your turn. Oh, see, that's what it did last time. I don't know why it did that. The jig head is just a little clumsy to throw. Oh, dead on. But
6 inches short.
I was 7.5 inches short, but
Sound like my wife. By the time we get it, the tide's gonna come up and go back down a couple times, and the thing will be just floating right in front of us. That's the hope, at least. Oh, that was close. That's a long cast with a fly rod. What do you think? That's probably 100 feet?
What?
That's probably 100 feet.
110 feet.
All right, so today I'm going to be trying to solve yet one more of the problems that I have while I'm crabbing. Part of the issue that I have is that we need to get the crabs from the pots into the appropriate baskets. But there's a lot of steps in between that, all right? Basically, the crabs come out of the pot, you shake them into a cull box, and then somebody is standing there sorting the crabs by size and quality. Part of the issue is that the crabs need to be shocked in cold water before they get put in the crates. It's a new thing that I've been doing the last couple of years, but it makes a huge difference in terms of dead loss and the crabs biting each other. One of the problems is if the crabs stay in the water too long, it kills them. So I don't want them to be shocked for too long, but I do need them all to be shocked. Crabs come up here, they get shook into this box, and historically we just have an ice slurry, and then somebody's standing right here where this trash can is. The problem is that whoever's standing here is getting killed all day because they are keeled over, bent over this box, trying to sort crabs. And I know it doesn't sound like it makes that big a difference, but when you're fishing 500 pots and you're dealing with thousands of crabs a day in the sun and everything else, bending over kills people. It kills your back, kills morale. It's not good. So how do you get the crabs to a more ideal operating level, okay? And not have them just hanging out, sitting in this water, dying, but also shock them. John and I have been working on this system, and I think I'm gonna try it. So basically we have, this is a cull box. This is made out of old stainless tank. I will cut, we'll extend the legs up so that the table, the bottom of the cull box is on a really steep angle. So the idea is when the crabs get shook out, they're gonna slide down that table. This thing will be cut here because you also can't have the guy shaking pots have to lift every pot way up here and shake it, because then you're just wearing your shaker out. So we'll cut this flush with the rail. Crabs will come down into here. This will be gone, this wall, and then the side of this trash can will be cut out. And then inside the trash can, you'll basically have another cull box, a smaller cull box that fits in here. In the bottom of this cull box, you'll have a plate that's hinged, say right here, that goes up. And then a piece of angle that rests on the edge of this cull box. So this can go up and down, and then with this angle, it stays on the edge, and it goes up and down with that. When you want to get more crabs to this, you pull on a pulley or something, you lower this down into this box, and then your plate flattens out and goes flat and matches this angle, and the crabs fall, some of the crabs fall into this container. And then you lift it up, and you can lift that up right to where it's ideal to just stand and pull the crabs right out. And then you have baskets here, maybe some on the rail, and you're just boom, boom, boom. You're sorting them. You don't have to move, you don't have to spin, you don't have to bend over. You're just standing perfectly straight, doing your job. This will still have water and ice in it, and this thing will hold a lot of water and ice as well. And that way, it's shallower here. They're not just sitting in the water and ice for half an hour by accident or 20 minutes. If we're getting behind, they don't have to sit in the water very long to have the effect that I need to shock them. This will have a corrugated bottom or something, so when you pick it up, it drains the water out, and boom, you're just left with crabs. Cull them into your things, boom, drop it back down, fill it up. I know it looks like garbage, and that is because it is made out of garbage.
I take offense to that.
Come on now.
We stored this for a reason.
Exactly, we didn't throw it away for this exact reason. I've been trying to figure out a system to do this, and originally I really wanted like a conveyor belt that just kind of moves the crabs, but conveyor belts are very heavy, very finicky, a lot of work, and it would cost a load of money. More moving parts, the more things that could break. And John is actually the master of building conveyor belts. He obviously invented the trash wheel machine, which operates basically one giant conveyor. And he says conveyors are not as easy, simple, or straightforward as you'd like them to be in your head. Because I know there's gonna be people that are like, just build a conveyor. It's not that easy. This has less moving parts and I think solves our problems. So the first step, I'm gonna clean this thing out because it's still got some park trash. Cut this rim out, cut this side off, cut a gap in here. One of our biggest challenges is going to be figuring out how to make a seal between this fiberglass tank and this stainless tank. Extend the legs, cut this down, then figure out the rest as we go. One of the issues is that this trash can has a giant hole in the bottom. And cut this out, get a piece of Kusa, and trace a new bottom, stick it in there, and bed it. Here's the new bottom. We gotta wait for this Total Boat resin to kick off. We'll have a new bottom. While we're doing that, I gotta cut my call box, and once I do this, I'm fully committed to making this idea work. I've been kind of trying to talk myself out of it because I have like a million other projects. Most of them are half started. Like that one over there, that's the counters for the crab stand that really need to be done by deadline. The rack that I took halfway apart. Yet I have finished none of these projects, so I don't know why. Desperado, that's a big one, really big one, literally. I'm not sure why starting another complicated problem that I don't actually know the end result of is a good idea, but it's never stopped me before. It's the ADHD building hour, I guess. And I want these to be bent because since the table's on an angle now and the table goes straight up, if you have them straight down, then they're in your way of your legs. So I'm trying to bend these in a little bit. Ooh, it's so hot.
I think I would have put one.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I've never seen it spark before. All right, the table and this. I have some Kusa in here and stuff and goop. I'll let this set up. This will go in here. Once I find the angle, take a belt sander and just sand this down to the angle of that. And I can figure out having to try to make it watertight. But that is really something. One of the other things we got to get done is move all the crap behind my shed. I am excited that I'm finally getting a walk-in refrigerator that's going to go right behind the shed. It's legal too. I mean, all of the treasure that I have back here, it's got to get out of here. We have lobster traps, we have cowling, shingles, outboard motors, hawks, tonneau covers, boat chairs. Clearly you can't get rid of any of this. It's all very good stuff. So we need to relocate it to its new home so they can put in a concrete pad so we can then set up a giant walk-in refrigerator to hopefully make my life far easier and my wallet far lighter. Well, it's 7 a.m. and Riley and I are taking a boat ride. It's also very cold today. We're going back to the bar because this is the third attempt of getting the center console home. So the other day, it was nice out. Riley, Lindsay, and I took the Sea Pro up to a local place to go get something to eat. It got really, really, really rough. But luckily our friend Nick showed up in his giant Boston whaler and took us home. Yesterday, we went up there in the morning to try to attempt to get in the boat. And it was on Nick's whaler, and it was even rougher than it was the day before. And we still couldn't get it home. So today we have a slick sheet of glass. We're gonna try to run up there and get it. Third time's the charm. That's a first. We've never actually seen the train going over the spin bridge. That's kind of neat. All right, we made it. Hopefully the boat starts. It should. It ought to. Over there at the fuel dock is an unmanned boat. That is a remote control boat. And they basically run it with an Xbox controller. I've seen it. So there's nobody on it. It's got a inboard, outboard diesel. And they just play it like a video game. It's pretty sweet. Super cool.
The female crab has like a circle on the bottom.
Yep, you're totally right. This is called the apron. All right, so I have another crab that you guys can touch. Well, I think that went pretty well. Shout out Fort Smollett Elementary School. That's where I went to school. And it even said in my 5th grade yearbook I wanted to be a crabber. And now I am, so pretty awesome. Kids asked quite a few questions, so once again, I had pretty much nothing prepared. So I apologize, but pretty awesome. Low-key always want to do that. I think it's cool and important to be able to share this kind of stuff with the next generation, because ultimately those are going to be the people that determine if I have a job or not. And hopefully some of these guys get into the seafood industry, because there's not many people getting into it anymore. You know, the average age of a crabber in Maryland, a waterman, is 58. I'm 29. So I bring that average down quite a bit. So I have to basically rebuild this winder. This is the thing that pulls the crab pots in, the crab pot line, so we don't have to do it by hand. I know I always have like old timers tell me, oh, we used to fish 2,000 crab pots a day and we pulled them all by hand, not like you freaking sissies now. I'm like, well, I don't believe you, because it's just not possible. We pull, I think it's like 14 miles of line through this every day. You definitely wouldn't want to do that by hand. So call me what you want. I use a hydraulic winder. The issue that I suspect that I'm having, this hub that's been on this winder, is this brass hub, and it's kind of wallowed out on the shaft of the hydraulic orbit motor that spins it. So that means this thing is slightly shaped like an oval, I think. And it keeps working its way off of the shaft and then binding on what's called the knife, which is this thing, which is right here, that spits the line out. I suspect that's what's happening. I don't know for sure. I ordered this new one from Castell Brothers in St. Michael's, and they overnighted it to me, which was super awesome of them. And I'm gonna try to replace this with this new version of the hub. The hub that's on this one has been on every crab boat, on every winder I've ever built since I started. So this hub I've been using for 11 years, and when I got it, it was used off of another crab winder, so I have no idea how old that is. It's probably an antique. I hope it's not the hub and I can still use this hub because it's kind of nice, but I'm gonna see if this hub will work. This also has more set screws in it, which is awesome, because this one has one set screw and it's pretty torched. We're gonna have to tear this whole thing apart. We're gonna replace the knife, see what we can get into inside of here, because I have to go crabbing tomorrow and these parts didn't show up until just now, and it's like 3:30 in the afternoon. Hopefully the hub is not seized on the shaft like it usually is, and I have to torch it off of it. So you can kind of see a little better how this thing works. I put these studs in here, so it's kind of like an alignment tool, so everything can slide on and off easily, so you're not trying to align 6 bolts and whatever and shims. These plates basically pinch the line as it gets pulled through. Line goes over the block, under the fair lead, and up top. And when the line goes around, the knife spits the line out. So we got to take this knife off, and then we can get this back plate off, and then we're going to try to wrestle this hub off of here. So we have pretty much everything apart, and you can see on this hub how it's wobbling like that. That is not ideal. All right, well that took way longer than it should have, because I had to pull this thing apart twice to adjust the spacing on here. These bolts weren't long enough, and these are a super weird thread pattern that's really hard to find. Like, I couldn't even find them at the hardware store. I had to order them from Castell's, that deals in these Hydroslave haulers. I basically had the back spaced out so that I could have this flush, because I want the most of the shaft to make contact with here. It wasn't working out that way. These bolts wouldn't reach, so I had to pull the shims out of the back, pull this out a little bit with a puller, and then tighten all the set screws down, and then put the bolts in so that they have a little bit of meat to grab onto. So in theory, this should work. We'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. real test will be to see how it does under load. So you can see in this old hub, the one we took off, you can see the keyway is pretty roached. It's pretty egged out, and this thing is just tired. It's had a lot of hard years, and it's kind of bent as well, which doesn't help. But we ain't gonna throw it away. We're gonna keep it on the boat just in case, because push comes to shove, this is better than nothing. New development here. You guys see all this nasty, disgusting stuff? See how it's got little pieces of shell, and it's like clam snouts. This is all from cow-nose rays coming through, and we've seen a load of them breaking on the water out here, and they just decimate the bottom. They eat all the clams, everything, crabs, everything that they come across. And then this is all the carnage from all the clams that they eat. This is from like white clams. This is basically the membrane that's over top of the white clam snout. So everybody talks about blue catfish, and they are a problem, but also think about all the rays out there that are eating all the crabs and all the clams. And naturally, 80% of a blue crab's diet is mollusks. Things like white clams and razor clams. So think about what that's doing to the crab population. When the rays come through and eat all the food, the crabs are down there trying to eat. And look at that, it just makes the pots disgusting. They flip over in the tide, whatever else, it's no good. As you can see, not many crabs in these pots either. Crabbing's pretty skinny. And on this line, we already had one pot stolen off of this line and another pot that was open, which means somebody stole the crabs out of it. So don't steal and go bow fishing for rays. Another tough day crabbing. Not many crabs, and those stingrays really screwed a lot of stuff up. They wrecked the bottom. Pots are covered in junk, no crabs in them. And then to top it off, I picked up a piece of line or something in my wheel. We are going very slowly home. 8 knots right now. We just hit 8 knots. Just another day crabbing, as Riley would say. He says, how do you do? I'll tell him all the things that happened and went wrong, or on the brink of going wrong. You say, so just another day crabbing? Yep, that's the way it goes. On the bright side, knock on wood, my winder worked excellently. I may have to pull a shim out of it, but other than that, pretty good. All right, I'm gonna set you guys over here. Oh, it's cold and gross. Ew. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I hate it. We may be in luck, folks. Yes. That's a beautiful thing. False alarm. Definitely did have something in the wheel, but I guess on the ride home, must have threw itself out. Sorry to disappoint, folks, but I'm getting the heck out of here. So check this out. It just showed up. My crew's already on it. This is a huge character arc, story development here at Bocking Point Seafood. They're loading crab pots, didn't even have to tell them. They already know what's up. Proud of them, doing well. Well, it's Friday, so you gotta let the boys have some fun. AJ just shot a stingray with his bow and arrow. That's awesome. Well, it's Father's Day week, so that means we need to get a lot of crabs together for the weekend. Crab sales have not been good the last couple weekends, but Father's Day is one of the bigger crab holidays of the year, so I'm hoping we can really sell a lot of crabs this weekend. Problem is, there's not a lot of crabs around. We've been crabbing our butts off here in the Upper Bay. I'm just not catching much. I'm thinking we may have to get a little bit creative and try to find some crabs elsewhere in the bay this year, because there is not many crabs to be had around here. All right, so we're doing a little experiment per AJ's request. We got a few eel pots here. We're gonna try some different baits. We're just gonna put them in between crab pots. So we got paper shell, which is like a soft crab that's too hard to be a soft crab and too soft to be a hard crab. We got some, what is this, AJ? Is this skate wing? Yeah. We got some skate wing. We got shrimp heads. And then we got another pot with, what else do we have? Bluefish and hardhead. So we're gonna set these in between the crab pots and see what bait catches eels the best. So we have a problem. The water pump that feeds my hot tank that cleans the crab pots is not working. It's no longer pumping water, and I'm not sure why. I gotta take it apart, but as you guys remember, I just redid that hatch down there and bolted it all up. So it just means now it's a little more work to get into the hatch. Problem is, if that water pump stays bad, we can't clean the crab pots. And then I don't know if you guys remember from last year, my worst nightmare happened and Literally my entire rig got dirty. We had to pull the entire rig in, power wash it. It was an absolute disaster. It cost me like 20,000 bucks. Freaking $200 water pump cost you 20 grand easily. Really hoping there's nothing seriously wrong and we can fix it. Update, the water pump is toasted, so it's not good. Hopefully we can get it fixed for tomorrow. Always a scramble. Should keep a spare one on the boat. I usually do, but this was the spare one. So we better get this hot water machine fixed because you can see that brown hair stuff is already starting to grow, and that's the stuff that will start growing on the pots and basically be the death of me. So if we don't get it fixed, my pots are gonna be covered in that. All right. We got through the day, got a new water pump at the marina. It got delivered there, made some calls, had it picked up and dropped off. Got A-team on it, baby. When I get back, get these crabs off and in the fridge, be working on replacing a water pump. We gotta fix this thing. I'm hoping that all the fittings are the same size. I don't have to convert the fittings because that's a real pain. I hope we don't crack this valve off. I have to be part of the wash down pump pit crew, dude. I've done this way more times than I care to. Shockingly enough, this pump is only 8 months old. Looks like it's been living here for years. So you want to start things off right and make sure that the wires that you're putting into your watertight heat shrink connectors are already wet. Ensure that you're going to have to do this job again, but you'll have a lot of practice. So I've determined that crabbing must be a lot like farming. I've never been a farmer, but I know a lot of farmers. It seems like there's always something to be done. And people show up to your farm or your boat, marina, whatever, and they're like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you go the extra mile to do this and that? Well, there's literally not enough time in the day. So I could rattle off 10 things that I can see from where I am right now that could and probably should be done. Feels like when you're crabbing or farming, I guess, you spend most of your time just trying to maintain status quo, trying to dry these wires off. With a lighter, it's not working. Well, I thought my pump was working beautifully, but I could hear a serious amount of water spraying down there, so just kidding. See, this is a prime example of a problem that I never knew was a problem or could really ever exist as a problem. It's not ideal. I do appreciate the fact that it's a self-cleaning bilge, but that's not good. See, it's just not something I ever thought would happen. Why would a hose randomly just have 3 pinholes in it, you know? Why, God, why? I just want to go home. It's 7 o'clock at night, actually. Keeping a crab boat running is sort of like vacuuming your yard, trying to sweep up the beach, things like that. Like, I feel like it's kind of like sitting here and spraying the deck, right? You're just spraying these little pieces of sand and dirt and shrimp heads and crab claws. You're like, oh yeah, I got them back to the scupper and sprayed them out of the scupper. It's clean now. It's not. It never is, never will be, and never was. You feel a little bit of satisfaction when you get something done, but yet there's always more to do. So task number 2, I guess, is that my soft crab shedding operation here is a little dirty and nasty, and the overflow is making it very slippery, and I'm probably going to fall in one of these days here shortly. It's a good opportunity, since I don't have a lot of crabs, to pull the crabs out, clean the whole thing, make it nice and clean so it can be dirty again in a matter of hours. Well, prime example, I went to go dip my crabs out and realized that my net is not in very good shape, so I guess we got to zip tie her back together. People will say, why don't you just buy a new net? They're $5. Because I don't have one here, and I need it now. You should do a better job at that. I know. Totally agree with you. I think it's an improvement. Soft crab tank is clean. Got some nice, pretty soft crabs. Unload bait for tomorrow. Another prime example. Just working on the dock, and this dock board came off. So, looks like a liability to me. I guess find some screws. All right, now I'm gonna attempt to go home. Oh, yes. Didn't want to add fixing a truck to my list of things to do. As Riley would say, it's just another day crabbing. in the process, I saw about 10 more things that should and could be fixed. And right now, I'm just gonna focus on the fact that my truck has air conditioning and it works right now, so I'm happy. Shoo, baby, just in time for Father's Day. Potluck of crabs. Beautiful, big, pretty crabs, too. Sight for sore eyes. Well, eel pot with shrimp in it. All we got is one peeler crab. I'll take it. I'll take a peeler crab. Eel pot with a piece of skate wing in there. Nothing at all. Dang, white perch, 0 eels. First eel pot with an actual eel in it. We had paper shell crab as bait, which generally works pretty well for eels. And we got a toadfish in here. Now, we got a little bit of bait. We got bluefish in the eel pot. Nothing but a lot of grass shrimp in there. This eel pot spot is bait. No eels. More shrimp though. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous. Today is Father's Day weekend. It's Saturday. I went crabbing. I just got off the boat. I'm going to run these crabs up to the crab stand. It's been a super slow day at the crab stand. Sales at the crab stand this year in general have been really bad. We've only been open like 5 weekends, but every single weekend, with the exception of Memorial Day weekend, it has rained all day. And even when it doesn't rain, if the weather app has a little cloud and it says 20%, people just don't come out and buy crabs. It's crazy. We roll the dice every single week, going and catching crabs and spending $5,000-6,000 bucks in overhead to then hope people buy them on the weekends. When we have rainy weekends, it's not good. Like, this is the Saturday before Father's Day. Usually I am sold out of crabs by now, by 1 o'clock. But I have like, I think it was 18 bushels of ones. So I probably have 30 bushels of crabs left. That's nuts. I can't believe it. I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know what the deal is. My prices are very competitive for the area. I know people are always tearing me apart about my prices, but people do not understand what it takes to catch these things, and they do not understand the price of crabs in the area. Like, literally, my crabs are significantly cheaper than pretty much everybody else in the area. I don't know. It's making me nervous, though. I hope tomorrow, which is Father's Day, is going to be a better day. Sales were really off today. It's making me very, very, very nervous. We haven't even broke even for the week yet. Well, it's actual Father's Day. We're about to find out if it's going to be a total bust of a weekend or if it's going to pull through and we're actually going to sell some crabs. I hope it's the latter. Yesterday, I got home and just slept for 13 hours. I fell asleep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, woke up at 11, was up for not very long, briefly, then slept in until like 7:30. So, going to get soft crabs, run those up to the crab stand, and I am not going to be at the crab stand today because it's just going to stress me out. Next weekend, I will be at the crab stand both days. Holidays usually take care of themselves. You'll never believe what I just saw on the side of the road, and I'm reversing down the highway to go get it. You're never going to believe it, but it's a whole boat. Oh, yes. 100% coming home with me. See, some people think that it's kind of wrong that I'm not at the crab stand all the time, but I've been there every single day for 3 years straight. And I'm trying to scale a business and grow a business, and the problem is there's only one of me, and I still have to go catch all the crabs at the crab stand all week. And if I spend 7 days a week doing the exact same thing, then there's no time for me to figure out how to grow and scale this business. I'm there every third weekend of the month, and I basically do a meet and greet, you know, and I talk to every single person that comes by. We put out the dates that I'll be there and the dates that I won't. You know, so if there is fans that just want to come and meet me, they can come on those dates. Has it hurt business? Absolutely. It's been very hard to sell crabs with me not being there all the time. But I'm really hoping that it kind of can even itself out and people will come on weekends when I'm not there and kind of have to rebuild our clientele out. I just understand the harsh reality of it, and it's just that, like, it's not sustainable for me to be working 7 days a week, and it's also not sustainable for the business to be doing the exact, like, the same stuff every single day. I need a couple days to work on other things to be able to keep the business rolling and not fall behind on the back end stuff. So I appreciate you guys understanding. Also, I have a favor for you guys. I'm always trying to run a better business. I'm always trying to make better videos. I'm always trying to do whatever I can. I want you to drop a comment in this video at the end of this video, after you watch the entire video, and describe this video in one sentence to sum up this entire video. You're going to be helping me a lot by doing that. I'm trying to do a little bit of research here and there. Do me a favor, whatever one sentence comes to your head to describe this video, drop it in a comment. Also, by doing that, you're also entering in the monthly competition to receive a box of Jimmy's Famous Seafood food for free, shipped anywhere in the USA. You got to subscribe too. So the deal is we're trying to hit 1 million subscribers on the channel. For incentive, if you subscribe and drop a comment, we will pick a subscriber and send you guys a box of crab cakes, crab soup, crab seasoning, whatever else, every single month. And at 1 million subs, we're going to give away a free boat. Well, free to you, not free to me. But we're going to give away a boat at 1 million subs, so appreciate you guys.